Today's reading is Sherlock Holmes from the Sexypedia Wiki. Content warning. This page covers sensitive subject matter. If you're disturbed by the following topics, death and drugs, please proceed with caution or refrain from reading this entry altogether. The article Sherlock Holmes is about a character played by or based on a real person. This article is referring exclusively to the fictional character and is in no way about the real-world person portraying them. Spoilers ahead! This article contains major spoilers about the sexy person and/or their source material. Please proceed with caution. Sherlock Holmes is the main character from Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes novel series. Sherlock is, to be fair, could be one of the oldest/the first fandom sexy men ever recorded. His class is Tiamat, and his source is the Sherlock Holmes series. Basic information. Sherlock Holmes is a fictional detective created by British author Arthur Conan Doyle. Referring to himself as a consulting detective in the series, Holmes is known for his proficiency with observation, deduction, forensic science, and logical reasoning that borders on the fantastic, which he employs when investigating cases for a wide variety of clients, including Scotland Yard. More information can be found on Wikipedia. Archetypes. Angst/pathetic. He could have depression. He consumes cocaine and he mentioned to Watson by himself that he's antisocial. Also separated from his quote-unquote death after killing Moriarty, although his angsty scene is more focused on Watson. British. He, nearly everyone in his universe, and even the author are all British. Chaos Lord. Holmes is described as unique, crazy, and quirky. His introduction and first meeting with Watson confirm this. Detective. Need a counselor detective? Call the man from 22 1B Baker Street. Egotistical. He probably has his own ego. Intelligence. His deduction is one of the big puzzles of him. Mad scientist. First shown with explaining and playing with a blood sample, and later with Lestrade, explaining to Watson that Holmes half-punched the corpse with staff to make sure he can have information on a corpse, which can have a bump despite being dead. Morally gray. Although he's on the side of justice, his chaotic behavior and ego made him come off as a bit of a jerk. Parental figure. He's friends with the Baker Street's gang, a group of young boys who serve as witnesses, gathering information for him. Power. There's a part in his speckled band where he bends a metal pole into shape without much effort. Power of love. Implied. He got some development to be more open, show more sympathy than ever before, most likely thanks to Watson. Quotable catchphrases. My dear Watson is one such catchphrase, as well as elementary on really rare occasions. However, a combination of the two phrases, elementary, my dear Watson, ended up becoming attributed to Sherlock Holmes despite it not being mentioned in the book at all. Pale twink. Watson describes Holmes as being very skinny. Twisted freaking psychopath. Many people believe Sherlock is to be a sociopath because of him really expressing his emotions, as well as being rather cold to other people, although in reality, he isn't, and is just generally stoic. Unkempt. His room is much more messy than you think. Grime. His hands often get dirty, as described by Watson. Suit guy/long coat. Often shown wearing a suit with jacket, a coat if he's not working, and on one instance, a lab coat. Subverted tropes. Bait. Sherlock was initially described as just a skinny man. However, thanks to the many adaptations of him out there, especially the BBC one, they made him appear much more conventionally attractive. Fanon tropes. Fanon splintering. Some fan art tends to show various incarnations of Sherlock meeting each other. Johnlocked. Literally the reason this very trope has its name. To be fair, outside of the BBC adaptation, there are people who do ship Sherlock and Watson together thanks to being in a close relationship as both close friends and roommates. But the canon only makes this relationship platonic and nothing else. But thanks to Johnlock shippers, people ended up shipping them beyond the BBC adaptation. Marked canon/fanon divergence. Because of the many adaptations of Sherlock Holmes, each Sherlock has at least one thing distinguishing themselves from one another. For example, one is more active, one is more extroverted, one is a woman, and so on. These Sherlocks are everywhere thanks to the source's status as being in the public domain. Fanon. Sherlock Holmes is really popular. Despite only being a fictional character, he's beloved by fans and is regarded as the most greatest fictional detective ever lived. When he got killed off, people actually wore black to mourn him. Ironically, it was his popularity that got him killed off in the first place, but Arthur Conan Doyle got so much hate mail and the Strand lost so much money that he had to write more stories. Poor guy. There are many statues of him, even in Switzerland, the place Sherlock died in when he tried to defeat Moriarty.